welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some Amazon Prime Day ideas for homeschoolers. So if you are interested in this type of content and other homeschool and lifestyle content, please remember to subscribe and let's get into it. All right, so I went through some of the things that we already have or a few things that I'm looking for on Amazon Prime Day and hoping they'll be on sale and made a list. So like I said, some of these things I already have, a few of them I'm looking for. A lot of the stuff that I'm actually looking for on Prime Day is stuff for us to take with us to Africa. And so it doesn't necessarily apply to homeschoolers. Some of it's a little bit more like safety type things or like flashlights, all that kind of stuff. And so I'll still do like a big haul on all the things that I get for Prime Day, but I thought I'd give some ideas. I have no idea if this stuff will be on sale or not, to be honest. I have just been making a list of things I want to get and of things that I think have been good in our homeschool and a couple mom things that I'll share at the end. So if they go on sale, I feel like they'd be worth a look to see if you actually want to get them or not. So I'm gonna go through these things. I have some games also to share with you because games are always a more pricier item generally, and so it's nice to get a good deal on them. All right, so the biggest thing I've been waiting for Prime Day for is to get new Kindles for my kids. So we have one of the kids' Kindles, and they've been doing a good job, mostly sharing it. There's still fights, but my oldest uses it the most. But since we are going to be living in Africa for 6 months, we will not have access to like libraries and getting lots of books and all that kind of stuff. And that's what my kids spend their like evenings doing for almost 2 hours, is reading books. And so I'm like, okay, we need books and access to books. And so our charter that we're a part of will pay for Kindles. And so I've been waiting for them to go on sale. And usually on Prime Day, they do. I don't know yet if we're going to get the kids' Kindles for all of them, or if we'll get like, I don't know, a grown-up Kindle, what would you call it? Mine is the 12th generation, I believe, the Paperwhite. It's new, I just got it maybe 2 months ago because my other one was so old, and I really love it. So price-wise, I'm not really sure, we'll see what the sales and everything show and what my husband thinks is best. But I plan to get them all Kindles, and we have my old Kindle as kind of a backup option if we really need it while we're in Africa. But that's like a huge thing that I've been waiting for Prime Day for. The next thing is another thing for Africa. I really don't have that many things for Africa on this list, but these first two, because they're just such a big thing that I've been waiting for Prime Day for, I have on the list to share with you. So this one is a tablet. Preferably an iPad, that's what I was told, because we're gonna be doing Procreate. Some of my older kids are gonna be doing that. And I have a friend who does a whole bunch of this kind of stuff, and she's like, you wanna get an iPad? We are not Apple people, generally, but she's like, that's what, and you don't have to like be connected to anything else with Apple to be able to have the iPad and use it for Procreate. So that's something I wanna look at. I don't know, again, if they'll go on sale or anything like that, but it's just something that I've been waiting to get. So even if it's not on sale, I'm still gonna buy it because we need it for Africa. And again, our charter will reimburse us for it. The next thing is just homeschool supplies in general. So like pens, pencils, colored pencils, watercolors, all those types of things, because some of them aren't that expensive. Some of them can get really expensive, especially if you have budding artists that need better things to use, better tools to use, they can get kind of pricey. So looking at those things, so I just have a few things to show you. So some of my favorite pens are the Tool pens. I don't know if that's how you say it, the T-U-L. And I've shared these before. These are actually the medium size point. I like the fine point better, but I still like these ones. They give more color options in the medium than they do the fine. But these are some of my favorite pens as far as color goes and everything. I use them for all my planners, for different types of journaling, and I really enjoy them. If I just want like a straight up really good pen, I love these zebra pens. I buy them over and over again, and my husband, for the longest time, didn't use them, and then started using them for his writing and journaling. He's like, oh my goodness, these pens are amazing. And so now he uses them too all the time, but they're a finer point pen. And so this is 0.4 is like the size of it or whatever. And then it also, I really like that this clip is, you can move it yourself, right? It's not just one that you kind of slide on and it only moves a little bit. Because I clip this on when I'm reading books, especially when I'm taking notes in books and they have a hard cover, I can just like clip it on and my pen stays with it and I can just grab it and write notes, or you can clip it easily to other things. It's just so nice. So I really like these pens. I think they have different colors, but they might not have the different colors in as small of size, because sometimes they just don't do that. They just make certain colors medium or fine point or whatever. There's also colored pencils. I think I have some colored pencils on my list. It's not these ones, but ones that we can take with us to Africa that I wanted to get. I just am showing these ones because these are our pricier colored pencils, and maybe not the priciest, but they're also not just cheap Crayola ones either. Crayola, whatever. Obviously those aren't cheap. Those are fine for what they are used for. But if you want really good, we used these in my interior design class when I was in college, and I had bought some new ones. This one's a bigger pack because my other ones are so stubby and short because we use them so much in interior design. So anyway, I really like these ones. They have a lot of good colors and they work really well. You know, they have, when you've used a nice colored pencil and go back to not nice colored pencils, like there is a huge difference. So I really like those ones. And then just a minute, I grabbed these, but I put them on the floor because there's no room on my table. I have alcohol markers. This is a pricey item. Again, I don't know if it will be on sale. I hope it is, because these things are great and I highly recommend them. They have different sizes. So this is obviously a humongous size. My oldest son has a smaller size that I think we got him for Christmas a few years ago, and he uses those for his drawing. But I just love, like, look at all those colors. It's great. And so I love having these. We get the like big posters that my kids can color. Those aren't very expensive. They're maybe like $5 or something for a big poster. And they lay it out on the floor and they can color it and everything, and that's really nice. So just homeschool supplies in general, if you find something on sale, it might be a good time to stock up. Another thing is calculators. This is kind of along with homeschool supplies generally. And these ones by themselves don't get expensive. If you have to buy a lot, they could get expensive. Or if you need a graphing calculator, those things can get expensive. So if they're on sale, they might be good to grab. This is just a very simple scientific calculator, which they're not horribly expensive, but if you have multiple kids that might need one, if there's a deal, it might be a good time to get them. So a few other electronic devices I wanted to mention are speakers. A lot of times I see speakers go on sale on Prime Day. We've had this one for a while. It's the Cove one, and it like disconnects and you can kind of have surround sound if you want. And you could use this. This is nice for homeschool when you have recordings or something you need to listen to, or even just putting on music when kids are working, like calm music that helps them focus. This would be nice because sometimes just playing on your phone or whatever, or if you need to use your phone, it's not loud enough all the time. I personally use this for working out, so if you want it to just be a mom gift, that's totally fine too. You can get it for yourself, and I blast it in the garage because I just like loud music. I don't know why, but I just do. It's something that's calming to me, which seems counterintuitive, but it works and I just love it. So that's what I do with it, but this is good because this is, again, something expensive. And then something else that we're getting a few of for Africa that we already have some but need more is headphones. So several of my kids have headphones that are noise canceling. These are not like the top of the line because I'm giving them to my kids. I wouldn't even buy that kind of stuff for myself. But I'm like, as long as they work well enough, that's all I care about. And when you're on an airplane, you want it to have a cord so that you can plug in and watch a movie and stuff. So, and if they're doing their schoolwork on computers and stuff, these are my oldest daughters. And so a few of my kids already have headphones, but I need to get a few more. So if I see those go on sale, I think these ones were like $50. And so, you know, again, it adds up over time and they're not even super expensive ones. So if you see ones that are more expensive go on sale, then it might be a time that's good to grab them. All right, the next thing that might be good for your homeschool is water bottles. And I did not plan, I know these water bottles match. I just was not even thinking about how they match my shirt. So I guess we're doing well today, all matchy-matchy. But I brought two of these these are the same brand. They're both Simple Modern, but different sizes and styles. And so I like this one more for traveling or if we're just out and about. And I don't want this huge one, especially with the open straw. This one's really good. But then also I have the hydro jug. It just sprayed water at me. And I really like this one as well, especially when I'm out and about because the straw does fold down. So it just feels better to me not to have the straw catching everything or hitting everything and then me drinking out of it. That's sanitary. And so I like this one. They both fit in most cup holders. This bottom is slightly wider than the Simple Modern one. And so it doesn't fit as well into some cup holders, but for the most part, it's fine. They also have little kids ones. And so I didn't grab any of my little kids ones, but they have lots of fun designs. We have a bluey one. I think we have one with trucks on it. And so if any of those go on sale, because they can get really expensive for water bottles and they get lost or ruined or whatever. And so it might be a good time to refresh your stash. And then I have a few little kids items I wanted to mention before I move into all the games and stuff. But one of them is just this sensory board. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see, but we got this for Africa. I needed it for church recently to give my little something else to occupy them. And they loved it. My big kids loved it. Again, they're not super pricey, but sometimes certain things will have combined deals with them. So if you buy certain things, a certain amount of things in a category, you might get some sort of discount. And so if you've been looking for something, I added a whole bunch of other types to my cart so I can just see if any of them go on sale. But it has this cool part on the back too. And these cords are also just fun to play with. My kids tie them in knots and stuff. So that's a fun thing for kids. Something else that can be very pricey is magnets. Just any magnets in general. I brought a few different types up to show you. And so I can't remember all their names. They all have different names. I'll link some of them down below. These ones might be the Magnetiles. Again, I don't remember. We've had these so long. They're from graduate school and it's been 8 years since my husband graduated with his PhD. And so we got them before that. I think it was a Christmas gift from my mother-in-law, and my kids still love them so much. And I love how they can connect to other magnets too. It doesn't just have to be this brand. So these are an option, the open type ones. And then there's also these ones. I think some of these are called Picasso tiles, but I'm not really sure. There's so many different brands and they're all so similar. It does say Picasso on that one, so it's helping me out today. These ones are, big and enclosed. And so then I brought more that were this size. There's different games that we have too so they have balls that can roll down them. There's so many different tracks. We have one that has cars now and it can interconnect with all the other ones that we already have. And my 3.5-year-old loves to build his track, and it's all with magnets, and then it has a groove so the car follows the groove through there. So there's so many fun options with those, and they can get really expensive. And so if they go on sale, I think my mother-in-law actually did get those original ones from a Prime Day sale all those years ago. And so that's a good option. And then something else is this sensory bin. I was like, what is it even called? It's Inspire My Play. So this is just the vessel. You would have to put all this stuff in it, right? And this one, sorry, I did not clean it for you. It's kind of dirty and my kids were playing with it this morning. So, we're just kind of pulling a few things out right now. And it has the Inspire My Play brand, has all these different things you can buy for it. And then it has these little tubs that come out, and they have a book too that goes along with it, or cards. So it gives you ideas for different age kids of activities you could do with foam or with water or different things like that with kinetic sand, and put them in there and let them play. So again, I don't know if that will be on sale. It is a pricier thing to get, but then you can just keep reusing it for little kids. Something else that's really good for homeschool that might be on sale is either microscopes. This one's been used, so it's kind of probably not the best visually. As an example, the microscope's over here, or a telescope, because especially really nice ones, if you want to have them for science or looking at the stars, that kind of stuff, and not the microscope, the telescope. You would look at stars with that. But if you want them for those things, they can get really expensive, and sometimes they go on sale. There's been many times I've thought about getting a telescope and we just haven't, mostly because my kids are usually already asleep by the time it's dark at night. And so it's just not practical for us to get one, and we know people that have them, so we just can borrow theirs. But those are good options of things that might get a little pricier, but usually go on sale during the Prime days. All right, and then starting to move into games, I just wanted to mention like STEM and Legos first. And so I feel like Legos are a good option because they can be expensive, but they're just a great tool to have around your house. They get annoying sometimes because they make a big mess. But it's great for kids to just pull them out. They can rebuild stuff, they can make new things, and it's just a great creative way to get your kids engaged in learning. Another thing is just STEM in general. And I'll try to link some things down below, but generally, most of the STEM type games we have are from Think Fun. So this one was easy for me to grab. So I grabbed this Circuit Maze. And not all of the Think Fun games are expensive. Some are more reasonably priced, but some can get really expensive. I believe a roller coaster one we have is Think Fun. I'll have to look it up and put it down below as well. But I feel like this is a really good brand. A lot of them, the kids can just, like their individual games, but sometimes they need help or they like to work together because they can be hard. Trying to make like the circuits, you know, it gives you, this is the starting point, this is the ending point, like now what does it look like in between, and this is what you have to work with. And so it's good problem solving skills, logic, learning, all that kind of stuff. So I feel like looking at some of those games might be helpful because they generally tend to be at least a little bit on sale during Prime Day. All right, and then I have a few games to mention. I did not go through and write down all of our games and everything because that would be a lot. But I would recommend looking at higher ticket games because those are the ones that would be worth it if they were on sale. So Ticket to Ride is usually a fairly expensive game. We just got Plunder, which is similar to Catan, and those are kind of more expensive, but they're really good for homeschool, for geography, for economics, for teaching all those types of things. And so those are higher ticket games as well. But then I think Smologyy, this is like $40. So if it goes on sale, you just get it. It's kind of like Scrabble, but for math, and it's a smaller game too, but the pieces are made out of wood, and it's very nice quality, and so I think it's a good option for a game that you can just have your kids pull out and play. But also with like Catan, since we have, watch out, we're gonna throw games everywhere. We have the like normal version of it, but years ago we got the junior version, and I had asked a few of my kids their favorite games, and my 8-year-old said that this was one she liked to play. So it's very similar to Catan. It has similar concepts, but obviously played just a little differently, and a smaller board and stuff like that. And so this is a really fun one, Katana Jr. And then my other daughter mentioned this game that she really liked, which we just got this for Easter, I think. And so this is Mastermind, and you can play with 1 or 2 players, but you're trying to like figure out the pattern on one side. So again, this could fit under like STEM and logic as well. And then just a couple other games I quickly grabbed that my kids like for homeschool, or that generally my husband will take games to his youth group at church, and just a few that they love there are what I grabbed to show you. And so this science, or they have a geography one, which we also own, Trivia Challenge, is really good. It's a good just lazy homeschool day, or just a review homeschool day, or if you have like Fun Friday, you know, and want to play games, this is a good option for that. And then I'll link these down below so that you don't have to try to remember. There's this one too that's the 50 states game. They have one that's for the world as well. And so if you're doing geography or don't want to do like a normal geography curriculum and just want to teach it through a game, I feel like these are fun. So it has the states, it has questions, you're learning the capitals, learning different things about those states. So that's a really fun way to do it. And then 2 games that people gravitate to whenever my husband takes them to church activities, or when we've had some people over here playing, are Build Up. So this one's a fun like stacking type game. You draw cards, you have to use the certain pieces to try to build a tower and not knock it over. And so that's really fun for them. And then they also like Drop It as well. And this one, this is kind of what the thing looks like. And you have to, it has strategy involved. Some of it's just luck, but there's also strategy in where you place your piece and if it lines up with colors on this side, and you get a certain amount of points and stuff. So people like that. And some of these games too, those 2, you don't have to be actively engaged in them all the time. So you can kind of talk. Otherwise, you know, some games, it's like you have to be laser focused in the whole time. And these 2, I don't feel like you have to be like that. So it's easy to communicate with other people and still play the game at the same time. And the last 2 things I wanted to mention, I put in the mom category, but the water bottles are kind of in the mom category, but also the kids, and the speaker is both too. You know, there's a lot of things that overlap. So you can judge how you want to judge. But I wanted to mention my watch again. I have talked about this before, I think in a favorites video, but this is the Garmin Venue watch. I think it's the S3, I can't remember for sure. And I had the Garmin Lily before this one. I really like this watch. I like the round face of it, which is why I keep going back to this one. This face is a little bit bigger than the Lily. So if you want a smaller face, you could do the Lily. If you want a bigger one, then go with the Venue. And I really liked it. I've had it for just over a month, maybe 6 weeks. And I really enjoy it. The GPS is a little bit more accurate. I use it a lot for working out, for walking, all that kind of stuff. And so that's been really helpful. I like the different faces on it that you could change, and just the different settings it has. You can hook it up to all your text messages, your phone calls. I don't like that. I don't like having that all attached at my wrist, because I like being able to put my phone down and it just to be down. So I don't do that, but if you want to, like, you have that option. So it is an expensive thing to buy. It's not as expensive as an Apple Watch, but it's still very expensive. And so if stuff like that goes on sale, maybe a watch or something you've been looking at, but I really like this one, and there's different wristbands, whatever, watch bands, if you want a different color. And then the other thing I just wanted to mention that I was thinking about when it comes to Amazon is the ITK or Lash Next Door types of things with Brooklyn and Bailey. So LTK usually has some sort of sale generally, and so you can look at their stuff. Sometimes it's bundled together, sometimes it's just discounted a little bit, but it's already a very affordable skincare, but it's very clean skincare. And I also want my teens to use it as well, just because again, it's affordable, it's clean, it's just a very nice skincare that you can get at Walmart. You know, it's so easy off of Amazon. Like, it's just very easy to have access to. And so it's nice that they sell their stuff now here on Amazon, because it makes it even easier for me. And then also the Lash Next Door, sorry, I probably just hit that, is where this case is from. This is their Kindle Case. So if they have cases and they go on sale during Prime Day, like, I love that thing. It's so great and it's so cute. So any of their stuff, and then also their mom has Heritage brand, the hair care with shampoo, which we are running low on shampoo. And so I need to get some more shampoo and stock up on that kind of stuff as well. And again, these things are already very affordable, but they usually still have some sort of discount on them. And so if you already use them regularly, it's a really good time to stock up. All right, so those are my Amazon Prime Day homeschool recommendations. Put down in the comments what you're looking for on Prime Day, especially if it's like games or anything like that, because other people can look through and you can say, oh, I found a really good deal on this, and we can all benefit from that. You know, I'm always looking for new homeschool games, not that we need them, but I'm still looking for them. So if you have fun things you're looking for, or even not fun things, just boring normal life stuff that you're looking for on Prime Day, put it down in the comments below so we can all learn together. And remember to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you next time.